أني مخبئ أني إيوان شموني ينادم إيوان خلق دبرانتا تسيفو سنة أريزونا لخا أميلا ميقرتا أزستا أمتنتا منا أوشانا أميلا لخا قد هقيالا بتقتل أما أطرايا ين جينوسايد وبقاري قد يو بتهاوي بلشانة إنجلس. So welcome Azista Mona. Ms. Mona, my first question to you is, what does the Assyrian Genocide mean to you and how do you define the Assyrian Genocide?
Thank you, my sister Shmoni, for having me. And this is such a great subject that we are actually having today because we need to continuously be speaking about this subject. And what does the Assyrian Genocide mean to me personally as a first, second, third generation survivor of a genocide? I can say that it means to me that my nation was judged and sentenced to uncertain death for doing no wrongdoing. It also means our nation altogether was deemed unworthy to exist. And therefore, some people unofficially took it upon themselves to decree a death sentence upon our nation so that we may never have a future. But technically speaking, how do I define genocide? I obviously define it as the world stage defines it as a 1948 Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. As stated in Article 2, it states that is the intentional act of a barbaric or a violent act that is perpetrated against a ethnic, religious, or any kind of a minority that particular person that's decreeing this decree or this judgment takes it upon themselves to be judge and jury and says to a nation, you no longer exist, you will no longer are deemed fit to exist and therefore you will die.
And Ms. Oshana, can you tell our viewers where did the genocide took place?
The most profound genocide in recent history happened in Turkey during the Ottoman Empire between the years of 1914 and 1916. And if I may, my sister Shmoni, I brought with me pictures of the actual survivors. And these are actually pictures of my grandparents. Right here, the smaller picture are my mother's parents, my mother's mother and father, whom actually escaped, were among those that were basically ran for their life. They come from Lower Tiare, known as Ashitha. And my grandmother lost her only brother, who was a deacon of the church. On his way, he was not able to walk or to continue the journey out of Turkey. He basically, as a deacon, knew the rites of funeral. He actually pronounced his own funeral rites, crossed his hands over his shoulders, lay down on the ground and died. And my grandmother and my grandfather had to leave him there. And this bigger picture is of who we know as Nana Lulupar. She's from Jilu, also from Hakkari. She buried 2 of her brothers on the way out. And so therefore, the Ottoman Empire perpetrated a crime against humanity that is still today being denied. And there is no closure for our Assyrian community as we face these atrocities without justice being served.
I totally agree with you. The perpetrators must be brought to justice. Ms. Oshana, and why do you think we shouldn't forget about the Assyrian Genocide, and why should we raise awareness on these issues?
My sister, as you well know, being a very wonderful advocate in the community of our cause, we are a nation, we are a stateless nation, we are a nation within a nation, constantly on the run. The only thing that keeps us alive is our history and our language that we continue to teach our children. Why is it important for us to continue to raise awareness is for 2 reasons. For 1, internal reason, and 2, for a external reason. The internal reason is so that the generation that comes behind us or that comes after us does not forget what occurred and why we are where we are. Because for us to understand why we are where we are, we must understand where we come from. We must understand the oppression and the persecution that we come from. And this is the reason why we have been affected. Our future was affected as a result. And our children need to carry that responsibility of never forgetting what the perpetrator did to us and the enemy of our nation did to us. They must carry that responsibility, that voice to the voiceless, so that the blood of our ancestors, as my grandparents and those before them, their blood that was innocently shed, their innocent blood was shed on the ground of our ancestral home, and our ancestral lands were taken from us as we were marginalized and pushed out from one land to the other. So it's very important. The second reason, being an external reason, is so that we can partner with other nations that were also oppressed and persecuted, so that together we can find justice, so that we can let the world know, so that this kind of crime does not happen again. So that serves two purposes.
And Ms. Oshana, how do you differentiate between the Assyrian Genocide of 1915 in Turkey and the Assyrian Genocide of 2015 in Iraq and Syria?
Well, the Ottoman Empire is, I shouldn't say the beginning, because the Assyrian nation has faced many genocides prior to that, but we are kind of drawing the line to the 1914 to 16 or 1915 genocide that also took the lives of many Armenians and Greeks as well, the Assyrians along with them. The enemy of all humanity has a different name and it has a different face, but the plan of to annihilate the Assyrian community or the Christians in the Middle East is one and the same. I don't differentiate it because of the fact that, again, it's a different time, it's a different face, it's a different name. But the plan to annihilate the Assyrian community continues. So I feel like my sister Shmoni, the plan of destruction for the Assyrian community is a continuous plan, non-stop. So I don't differentiate.
And like, what should we do, or how can we prevent such brutality from happening again?
The most important thing that we must do is we must unite as a nation, because we must come together, because we have many that don't care that the Ottoman Empire or present-day Turkey is denying the genocide. Today we have a situation in Iraq and Syria where out of 1.5 million Christians, known as the Assyrians, Chaldeans, and the Syriacs, have completely been decimated, annihilated from the community. And today we see the liberation of Mosul and other areas and villages in Iraq. But no one is really answering the real question. Why was it allowed to occur? Why was the genocide in Iraq today, knowing everything we know from history, why was it allowed to happen? Who is investigating the crime that was committed? Because today we have less than 250 Christians remaining in Iraq. And with the liberation, with all due respect to the soldiers, to everyone that's on the front line today, giving up of their life to liberate, and I honor your sacrifice, and I honor your commitment, and I honor your fight. But today my question as a nation, as a stateless nation that was entrusted in the hands of two governments in Iraq today, the KRG in the north and the central government in Iraq, today that trust was broken, because the Assyrian nation remains on the run, remains marginalized, remains oppressed and persecuted. What we must do is we must continue to tell this story and not be afraid, because we were once silenced by fear on our ancestral homes. Today we must not be afraid. The thing that we most fought for on our lands was liberty. We did not get it on our ancestral home, but we got it here in America or other places in Europe and wherever we escaped to. So we must, with our liberties, we must use our voice to become the voice to the voiceless, and we must use our power to defend the defenseless. Because today it is from without the country, it is outside of the country of our ancestral home that we are finding that justice might be served, because we are free to raise our voices and to tell the world and to bring our case to the world stage and say a crime was committed, a continuous crime that has never been justified, has never served it's time.
And to add to what Ms. Mona said, I want to quote from, I have a quote from Malfono Sabri Atman's speech. He said, one way to prevent such brutality from happening is to recognize the one that have happened in the past. And my last question to you, Ms. Oshana, is I know you mentioned earlier about the singer, the Assyrian singer who won the Arab Idol. If you can elaborate on that.
We just received some very good news today, and it's on this day that we want to celebrate the new Arab idol of the Arab world. Of course, I believe he's a deacon because I saw a picture of him in a church. So I think his name is Yaqub Shaheen, but he's a deacon. So I will call him Deacon Yaqub Shaheen, who is from Syrian descent, from Tor Abdin in the Ottoman Empire. We are so happy that he is actually the fourth Arab idol to receive this award, and we are so proud of him. We knew that he had such an angelic voice. So this is a platform that he can use to bring more attention to the plight of our nation. So we are very proud of you, and we love you, and we congratulate you.
Thank you so much for being part of this great project, and I really appreciate your time and concern.
Thank you so much, and we are all unified in this cause to be able to send a message to the world that we will never be shut down, we will never be silenced, and we will never stop with this mission of our cause for the genocide to be recognized.
هاي بسم ترابا أنا أحكي بين ختمنا أي انترفيو من خاتن وبين أمرا قد دزوثا قتل عما أطورايا لا أحكي بقتلتن بغرانايد إن أحكي أبزي إلى بقتلت هيايوتن إلى قتلت culture ديان و heritage ديان وبدانت ديوا جو تركيا قد بدانت 1914 بيش اختريدة من أراتن بيش لشقيلة منن نقوى ديان تلياثا وباني بيش لشقيلة ومقوريقة تركاية يا لسورة شقيلنا ويوانق families التركاية لا أختي مقيمل أخ مسلمانة إن أخ تركاية أي إلى قتل عما أي إلى يعني بيشتغل ذا أخ genocide also so
أخشي خلني خينا بليشانا هلبت يمايا بين أمرا قد أخنن أخ أطراي قالك لا سبرخ قد من دنيا أتيا قد فرقالا من داها من جنختي لبرايا بيان دختي خاتي شموني متخرة أهقطل أما ليلة بس قطيلة قداني بغرنائيت إنا قداني بيشانت مني دختي خوا مغزوية شكلة إذا أنت أني دينا بيشبر مني روخا بشتلا قتلتا سو قد هذا قد تشئيت الدين وقد تأتيد الدين لا تلقى أخنا قريك قيمة بجانا أبنتك مرومة قالا إن لسبرخ قد خينة أعتقد الهوارن قريك ماطخ الهوارن جانا خاتي شماني قريك خيدخ من دي قمايا وقد ماسخ ماطخ الحيايوت تجانا من سبب إن سبرخ أخنا قد خخورة من دنيا يطغ جانا خدش بياشا خروات الدنيا لا بياشا قالك قيمخ أخنا جانا وشلشخ وبلشخ ودوخخ من خيان قد ماطخ الدن حقويات أخنا بطلابخ هاي تبسيمة
رابا دوسيو
بسيمة رابا قد
بسيمة توقاتن رابا هاي بسيمة رابا سيف وسنة قد مريوزة لأو خرزة قد قال الماطي الكل تلباب الدنيا
آمين بسيمة رابا